Hey guys, Jim Nix from nomadicpursuits.com, and in this video I'm going to talk about how you can create stunning black and white images in Luminar by MacFun. It's a great product. I've been using it for a while now. Hopefully you've got it. If not, I highly recommend it. It's super powerful. It's basically replaced Lightroom, but it's also replaced some other stuff, including tonality. I've been using MacFun's products for a long time, and I absolutely just adore tonality. It's a great product, and I'm not getting rid of it. I'm going to keep it. It's amazing. But I find that in Luminar, I can create very compelling black and white photos without having to go to tonality. And that's part of the power of Luminar. It's just an amazing product. So you can create black and whites a couple of different ways. You can add a filter and choose the black and white conversion and then pick your own filters and go from there. There's a built-in workspace for black and white. As you can see, it adds in all these filters that are built into the workspace that MacFun provides, built into Luminar. But I actually created my own workspace because my filters that I like to use for black and white are slightly different than the ones that are in this black and white. So I created this one called Monochrome Magic. So I'm going to bring that up. And by the way, I'm going to put this workspace for free download on my blog. So if you're interested, you can find it there. And let me just take you through this. So I usually just experiment with the color filters to see what works best. And I think I kind of think that red looks best. So I'm going to do that. I usually mess with the exposure and contrast maybe a tiny bit, maybe bump up the clarity. I've got structure here, so I'm going to move that a bit. I want to bring up the details because this is basically an architectural photo. There's no sky, so when I bump up structure, I'm not going to get a lot of noise, so I don't really care about that. So I'm going to bump up structure. Curves is huge. I love using curves. It's very powerful. A lot of people drop an S-curve, but I've been doing just kind of just this single pinpoint there and moving it up, and you can see the difference it had on the photo from that to that. I also love to use the blue and do the same thing, and it creates kind of a silver sort of cast like that, almost like it's moonlight, and I love that look in black and white photos. You may not, that's cool. Grain, I don't think I'll use grain here, but I like to use it in black and whites. Same with advanced contrast. I don't need it in this photo, but it's there. Clarity, I'm going to bump that up a little bit. And Orton, this may not be an obvious choice for black and whites, but I use it on a lot of photos. It's really good for sort of a dreamy kind of atmosphere. So I'm going to add a little dreaminess. Just slide that dude to the right, maybe soften it up a little bit. And I usually use type 1. I don't like type 2 as much. It's a little brighter, not quite as fun. Type 1, I'm a type 1 kind of guy for Orton. So you can see the impact it had, right? It sort of masks a little bit of the details, but it's just kind of, I love it. It just adds a little shadow and fun, and I think that works well in monochrome. Smart Tone's built in, or not Smart Tone, Tone, of which I use Smart Tone probably the most. Top and bottom lighting and vignette. I think I will use a vignette here, but let me show you what I did. In just a couple of moments, I took that photo, which is really yellow thanks to these lights here, and I created that, which I think is a compelling, it's sort of dramatic black and white, and it's real simple and easy. It only took me a couple of minutes in Luminar. Let me show you another photo. Let's try this one here. This is a railroad stop in London, kind of out on the east side of town. So I was there taking some photos a few years ago. I'm going to use my Monochrome Magic set again. Here you go, and I'm going to try. Which one is it? No, I think it's the blue. Yeah, the blue. It brings up the brightness on the rails there, which I like. So I'm going to go, again, kind of dramatic here. I just like to do that. I'm going to move structure up quite a bit. Even though it may bring up noise in the sky, that's okay. I'm going to add a little grain. I'm going to do my little fun with the curves again. I might go a little blue for that kind of moonlight look, right? A little bit of silver kind of look. Here's the grain. I'm going to add some grain just to give it a little bit of that kind of traditional black and white look. You can see the grain's getting picked up pretty well here. May not be as obvious in the sky because it's so white, but that's okay. A little clarity, a little Orton, and I think I will do a little top and bottom lighting here just to maybe even out some of that light. And then I don't think I'll use a vignette. Let me show you. There's the before, sort of flat and colorless, and there's the after. Again, I love the look of these. Again, I'm not a black and white guy. I'm kind of a big color guy at heart, but you can do so much in Luminar. So let me do one more photo just for fun. I'll do the Eiffel Tower. This was a shot taken late one afternoon in Paris, and it was cloudy and overcast. I'm going to hide the layers palette in the histogram because I don't really care right now. I love the photo, and it looks pretty good when I did it in color, but, with a little monochrome magic, I think it can look really cool. So I'm going to figure out which one of these. I think I'll go with that one. I think I'll bring the blacks up, a little clarity, a little structure, a little tone curve business. Once again, a little trick with the blue, right? Creating sort of a, not dramatic, but kind of a nice black and white. You may see a little noise in the sky. This is just a JPEG. I'm not using raw files for these videos. So maybe a little grain if you wanted to do that. And by the way, if you like the grain but you don't want it everywhere, you can just take the brush and then click on the grain filter and increase your opacity and then just paste the grain into the sky if that's where you want it. And that's the only place it'll show up. You can see the mask right over here is being created. And I will show you the mask here in just a second. So here's the mask. Let me just kind of clean that up, tidy that up a little bit. So I just selectively painted in the grain just to the sky. Maybe I don't want it in the grass. So that's a cool little trick if you didn't know that. Advanced contrast, I think I'll skip. I might add a little clarity and maybe a little Orton. I don't know how that'll look. Ooh, that's kind of fun. Kind of brings up the grain a little bit too, which is nice. And top and bottom lighting. I think the bottom's a little bit dark. Maybe do that, maybe shift that. And I think I'll skip the vignette. Let me get back in hand tool mode and let me show you the before and after. The before, pretty blah, right? Some muted color, a lot of green, but now I think we have an interesting and fun kind of grainy black and white photo. Anyway, the point is Luminar is very powerful. Black and white images are great. And if you want to use my Monochrome Magic workspace, as I said, I'll put it for free download on my blog. And that way you'll have all these filters. Again, a workspace is not a preset. So these settings are going to be reset to 0. That's what workspaces are. They're just collections of filters. But you can try Monochrome Magic. If you like it, great. If you don't, build your own. It only takes a couple of minutes. And that is converting photos to black and white in Luminar. A lot of fun, very powerful, very easy in Luminar. And it's basically my black and white editor now. And that's how it's working. So thanks for tuning in, friends. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll see you next time. Adios.